I'd love to know when you knew you wanted to become a dancer, and to also tell me a little bit about, what kinds of productions and choreographies you've done over the past 35 years.
Oh, I don't know if we have enough time for that, Laura, but I'll condense it a little bit. Um, I am from this area originally. Uh, I think I really became a dancer because I was an only child. I grew up around here, and I grew up in the country. So I really didn't have a lot to do. It's sort of reminiscent of this time period, actually, for different reasons. And my parents sent me to ballet school, although it wasn't really a ballet school, it was more of a dance school. We did a lot of different kinds of things. Dance wasn't really ballet. And when I was growing up, I didn't really have a lot of friends because we were in the country. So she thought that I would be socialized by going to a dance school. Well, one doesn't really realize that you don't talk when you're in class, you dance. So as time went on, I got better, and then I went to a more serious school, and then I got older and I got a scholarship at School of American Ballet, and one thing led to another, and I became a professional dancer with Pennsylvania Ballet. And I really didn't like the lifestyle, although it was my dream since I was a young child. That was rather a disappointment for me in some ways because I loved the art form, but I didn't like the lifestyle because we were on tour a great deal. So one night stands really from all over the country. Although I did get to dance a lot of wonderful ballets like George Balanchine, all of his works. And it was a wonderful, wonderful background for me. But I came home after that, taught at Union College for 10 years. I loved that. It was wonderful for me. And also at the State University of Albany. I missed teaching young children because I was always, when I was growing up, I was a student teacher also. So I started my school. And since then, it has grown. And in 1990, Gloria Lemaire, who was at that time the head CEO of Proctor's, asked me if I wanted to start a company for Proctor's. And the rest sort of is history because out of the school, the company came, Northeast Ballet Company. So now I'm the director of Northeast Ballet Company, and we do Nutcracker at Proctor's every year. And we've done that for 30 years, except not this season.
Yeah, this is absolutely a different year for a lot of people in the arts, but I kind of wanted to know, you talked about missing teaching young people and talked about the Arts Center. I'm kind of curious to know, who are the people that you teach at the Myers Dance Center, and what kinds of programs has the center done in the past? You talked about the Nutcracker. Are there any other ones that that the center has done in the recent past?
Yes, we were in the middle of doing the Festival for Young Artists for SPAC when we shut down. And this was their third year, which is a very exciting program because it's with the Empire Youth Orchestra and the chorale, and it's just an amazing program. Elizabeth Sobel's done an amazing job putting this together. And we were in rehearsal for that and for the company. And we had just started, and boom, that was it. That was the end of it. And so we didn't get to do that either, although we did do it virtually for them on their website now. But that was one of the things outside of Nutcracker that we do.
I'm curious to know, now that the pandemic has hit and it's really changed the way that the Myers Center can do things, can you share a little bit about what sorts of challenges the Myers Dance Center has faced recently? And also, too, how have students responded to different types of changes in the programs and classes?
We get, as dancers, very married, if you will, to our mirrors that we have in our studios, which is a good thing and a bad thing. In this environment now, of course, at home when we're doing Zoom classes, which we have offered on and off for the students. They don't have that. So when they're learning at home from, a little tiny laptop or sometimes even their phone when we do Zoom classes, they have to find their own center and their own self, which has been good, very good for some of them, but also very challenging for others. So that has been interesting for our teachers also. And some children have really flourished in ways that they wouldn't, I don't think, in the studio, because it's been very individual for some children. It's been a wide variety of experiences, I would say, during this time period.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like this sort of shift to virtual classes, if I understand you correctly, Darlene, has both, sort of made challenges for some students, but also opened up opportunities for others. And you get to know about the very pedagogy of dance through such a shift like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think even though the students can see other students in class, in a virtual class, they have to concentrate more on themselves, and they have to find their own balance, because they really can't compare themselves to other dancers. They really have to find it for themselves. And I think that's been very good for them, for themselves. And also a different way of looking at themselves through ballet, which they wouldn't have had in the studio. And we wouldn't have had the time to really talk them through something. And also, some dancers like to follow other dancers if they don't get the combination. Well, they don't have that opportunity. So it's made them think with their mind more, which has been good.
What do you think dance can really give to people right now that maybe they can't get otherwise?
The children and the students that I have been serving and my staff have been serving virtually has been, I think, a sanctuary for them. They've had to set that hour aside, or those 2 hours a week. They've had to go to their bedroom or their kitchen, and they've had to make sure the cat or the dog or the parrot or whatever, or their siblings are not there for that time period. So it's been like their meditation.
It sounds like they're carving out kind of a space for themselves in the day and in their space for something that's really expressive and really creative.
I think that's helped them get through this.
Yeah.
And maybe the parents too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of thinking about the future of dance, especially in what some people call the post-pandemic world. And I'm wondering, in your view, Darlene, what should the goal of dance instructors and dance institutions be for the next 5 years, or even perhaps maybe the next 10 years?
I've had many discussions with my peers from Boston Ballet and also Miami City Ballet and NYCB. We've had a lot of discussions about this, and none of us really have any solid design here. One of my students actually went to the summer program at Tisch, and she's only a junior in high school. And she was sort of saying, well, we don't really know where we're going, but we have to go. And that's kind of what everyone is saying. I don't really feel virtual is the only way to go. I think that we all need to be in the studio to some degree. I think that's important for many, many reasons, which is why we are offering some in-studio classes, although limited, with only 10 people. But I think for dance, it will open different avenues that we would never have thought about because of the necessity, the necessity of having to do that and working in different ways and doing dance outside where we wouldn't have done it because we didn't need to, but now we do need to, even in, colder weather and so on. So I think it will bring more creativity to us.
Thank you so much for taking time out to speak with me on A House for Arts. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, pleasure's been mine. Thank you.